back to my podcast. My name is cnhirschler. You can find me on Ravlery as Caitlin Hershey's and on Instagram also as Caitlin Hirschler, spelled the same as the name of the channel. I'm coming to you from Somersworth, New Hampshire, third smallest town in New Hampshire, with my two kitties, Gigi and Bean. I scared them off the bed by making it, so we'll see if they pop back up and decide to be entertainment in the background. How have you guys been? It's been 2 weeks, which I think is a good amount of time in between podcasts for me. I've been okay. I got let go from my job this past Tuesday, so that's been really rough. I really loved my job. I was pretty much doing what I'd always dreamed of doing, which was working in material development for an outdoor wear company. So I was working in footwear innovation, designing rubber compounds and working on development of foams, stuff like that. And so it was really cool. So that's been a rough adjustment, but I've updated my resume and I'm ready to start bothering people again. So we shall see what happens with that. So I'll start off with some of my finished objects. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen that I have finished my Free the Ripple cowl. And so the part that I had left was working on the Ripple butt shorts, and I love them. They're so comfy. Absolutely just ridiculous. It's knitted shorts. One, I love this color. Look how bomb this is. So I have a matching top to this as well, which I showed in last week's or 2 weeks ago's podcast, and you can see my finished object photos on Instagram. Yeah, this knit is so nice. It's super easy to remember the pattern, super fun to knit, and for me, nothing was like super, like, it didn't really take me that long at all. I actually had to rip out, I was down to like the crotch area about to separate for the legs, which is like an hour's worth of knitting afterwards of that, and I had to rip all the way back because I decided I made them too big. So initially I cast on the size large because of my waist size, but when I had finished all the increases for the hips and the butt, I realized that like it's just not gonna work because my waist and my hips are about the same size, but the pattern has the hips being about 10 inches bigger for the size large, 10 inches bigger than my hips. So I was just choosing the wrong size. So I went down to a medium, and it's stretchy enough in the waist that is totally fine. So I'm super happy with it. It's still pretty chilly up here in New England. So it actually just snowed yesterday, which was absolutely insane. It's the middle of May and we had a snowstorm. At least we didn't get snow that's stuck. I saw some places in Vermont had countable inches of snow, like 4 to 6 inches. It was wild. Okay, so Ripple Butt Shorts by Jessie May. 10 out of 10. Totally knit them. They look bomb ass. Check out my bomb ass photo. I'm going to be talking here while this plays on screen. Yes, it's super nice. You should totally knit it. My next finished object, something really small. So I've been moving around a lot, and I've been, I guess, on my own. I've been to college, but I've been living singly as myself for about 2 years. So I've had not really that many Christmas ornaments. And my mom really makes fun of me, and thinks it's really sad that my tree is just doesn't have any things on it. So I promised her I'd have some this year. So I made a little sock stocking. The pattern is by, I kept it here so I can tell you, it's the Stocking Ornament created by Carlin. It's super cute. It's free. You should check it out. Super easy to follow. So this is my first run of it. The pattern calls for a gusset and heel flap heel, but I thought I was too cool for that, and I did a German short row heel, and it's that's very unnecessary for a stocking. You see it sits flat like this now. So for the rest of my, doesn't look too bad though. For the rest of my socks, I'm gonna do rainbow socks because I'm gay and I can't stop myself. If something's rainbow, I'm probably gonna make it. I'm probably gonna buy it. Rainbow capitalism, if the company's not investing in, benefiting the LGBT community, it's a horrible thing, but also I want shit with rainbows on it. messy. Yeah, so most of mine will have filled up in gussets, and it'll be rainbow. It'll be super cute. So excited about that. So then I have one more finished object. I said 2 weeks ago that all I had to do was bind off on my quilt. That's all I had to do. It's true. I'm not lying to you. And I did that. And it really wasn't that bad. Like, I had to make my binding strips, which is you cut like 2.5 inches of fabric. You have and you sew them together, make one long strip of binding, and you pretty much iron it so it folds in half. I machine stitched it to the top of my quilt, and then I folded it over and hand stitched it on the backside. And that only took me about a day. It was super quick. I was really worried about that part because I'm not much of a sewist, as I've said before. But that part, the binding, was really, really easy. So that was good because after 2 years of working on this quilt, I really just wanted it to be done. And the moment I, finished off my last stitch, I went outside and was using it as a picnic blanket, knitting and eating lunch out there. A few days later, I took the blanket out there again, and took my ladies, my girls out. And so they were walking around by my front porch, and I was just sitting on my quilt watching them, and it was really magical. And we all need a little bit of that these days, I think. So it's really sweet. So, works in progress. I've actually been working on a lot of things over the past 2 weeks. I mean, a lot in the past few days. I've had a little bit of spare time on my hands. So I will show you this one first. So this is an ongoing blanket whip. I have I'm in the middle of a row, as people say. What was I? Blankets. I have a lot of blanket whips. I really, really enjoy making blankets. I usually crochet blankets, but a lot of my blankets projects I've been sharing with y'all are actually knitting, including this one. So this is just a garter stitch blanket. It's about like a worsted Aran weight held double with like DK fingering. Mostly intended to use up my DK and worsted / Aran weight yarns. I'm working on this for about 1.5 years. Don't work on it a lot, obviously. Don't know how many stitches I cast on. Did an I-cord cast on and have a really strange I-cord edging. I started this last year and I hadn't done a lot of I-cords before that. And so I kind of looked up one on the internet and went for it. And now that I do a lot of I-cords and I, don't have to look them up anymore, the way this is done, it's really strange. It's on one side, when you start the row, you would do like, depending on what row you're on, you would do, excuse me, knit, slip, knit, and then the same thing at the end of the row, knit, slip, knit, and then flip it around, and then you would do slip, knit, slip, and then the end of that row, slip, knit, slip, and that's very different than how I see a lot of designers doing their I-cord edging. Like usually you start with like a knit and at the end you slip or something like that. Like it's matching. Like every time you start a row you do this, every time you finish a row, but doesn't matter because it looks nice and it's going to be super fucking squishy, which is the goal. Hashtag goals. I'll show you another blanket project. Here's the blanket parade. So here is my glorious pocket full of posy blanket. It's more than just a cable knitworm thing now. But look at how pretty this is. It's the Pocket Full of Posy blanket by Pearl Soho. I bought the kit last year and I just started it, I guess about 2 weeks ago. Got through the first color. Now I'm working on the second. You do the transition of colors, just alternating the rows. Which is semi-complicated because every row in brioche is 2 pieces of string and you go back and forth, but the pattern is free and it tells you how to do it, so it doesn't matter. But I'm super excited, so I'll probably show you guys this every time I switch to a new color. I think there's 18 colors in total, but it's gonna look dope as fuck. I'm really excited. I love brioche. It makes me so happy. It's just so much fun. Speaking of brioche, I have my What the Fade shawl. I love this. I worked on it a lot right after the last podcast. That's really was like my main project. I finished doing the colors change, which I think that's where I was last time we talked, and started with the second group of colors for the brioche section, because for the What the Fade, there's 3 groups of brioche sections for like color switching. Then it goes to garter stitch. So I'm towards the end of the second, it's getting too big for the needles now, of the second garter or brioche stitch section. Yeah, I think we are almost like too big for the needles. Here's the back. You can tell that this is where the new color is. It's a little bit lighter. I think you might be able to see it better on the other side. Yeah. So the striping is where the new color started. We were integrating it in this like lighter section with dark speckles up here is the new color. So I'm getting to the end of that section. It's just going to be such a comfortable shawl, and it's picturing like a blanket, like a shanklet, which also sounds wrong. But especially to block out, because this is all super wash yarn, and so it's just going to be absolutely massive. And I can't wait to roll up into it like a little worm in a cocoon and then never come out. I'll just live in there. I think that's what we all want. Yeah. My last work in progress for y'all today. Not as exciting as the other ones. Maybe it is. Maybe y'all go ham for ornaments. I don't know. I won't judge you. You're safe here. But here's the orange sock. Here's my heel flap. I really don't care that you can see a color jog. I'm just gonna tie them anyway. So these are ornaments, not wearable objects. But I have the orange one going. So I will finish that, which I can finish in a day. I just obviously don't want to, which is why it's still a whip. But we all do things like this, so I know you won't judge me. Okay, now I'm going to take a sip of water because I've been talking a lot. Do y'all like seltzer water? Because I am obsessed with seltzer water, and I feel really bad when I drink it because either I get it in these big like liter plastic bottles or I get it in aluminum cans, which are recyclable. But I mean, I can go through 2 like 12 packs, really however many are in the big long ones of seltzer in 1 week, and I'm like, is this wasting materials? Am I wasting my money? So I really need to buy one of those fizzy water makers so I can just like buy carbon dioxide cartridges and make my fizzy water at home. I just like the bubbles. But my favorite is grapefruit seltzer. Polar's really good. Polar's a good brand. In the summer of 2018, this is a grapefruit seltzer saga. So when I graduated college that summer after, I made it my goal to try as many grapefruit seltzers as possible and to rank them. So I'll see if I can insert a picture here that I did at the end of the summer of them in their proper order of best to worst seltzers. I think I have some different opinions now than I did back at the end of summer 2018, so I will not stand by that ranking. So if you want to fight me on some, like, it could be valid, not sure. I won't judge you. Maybe. It depending. If you decide like the worst seltzer, which is like definitely the worst, is the best, I mean, like, we're gonna have to fight over it. So. Anyway, grapefruit seltzer. I really love it. And I really love the bubbles. Which is, I don't need to drink soda because I don't care about the sugar. It's really about the fizzy goodness. So I wanted to share a little bit more about me, besides my love of fizzy bubbles, since we're only at about 14 minutes. So I can take a few to talk about me if you've made it to my 3rd podcast and you're still here. So one of my passions is cooking. So I'll talk about a little bit what I do with that. So, I mean, I'm just as lazy as the rest of you. So for the past 2 weeks, I've pretty much been eating like hummus and pita bread for dinner and then like really simple like pasta dishes and stuff like that. But I really do enjoy getting creative in the kitchen. Tonight I'm gonna make a garlic breaded chicken. I'm gonna bake in the oven. And then do a roasted side of romaine hearts. I got the recipe from Bon Appetit. I'm pretty much obsessed with Bon Appetit. I would sell my soul to the embodiment of that magazine, probably just because like the test kitchen is so endearing that I really can't help myself. And the recipes always end up really good. So that's also, they have that going for them too. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm really excited about that. My favorite thing to do is like travel for food or watch food travel shows. So my dream is to travel to Southeast Asia and do a food tour around there. I think my favorite cuisine in the world is Ethiopian food, which I just like their flavor profiles. Like you can't get something like not good. Everything that I've ever gotten at an Ethiopian restaurant is just like absolutely amazing. Like I don't usually eat like peas or green things because I'm an adult. But I eat them at Ethiopian places. Like my favorite dish is like red lentils, and I can't make myself eat lentils at home, but I can eat them by like the pound at Ethiopian restaurants. So that's my hot tip for the episode. And it's really cool too though, because they cook they separate their meats and like veggie dishes. So like their veggie dishes, you can have them completely vegetarian. A lot of Ethiopian restaurants say they're vegan because they focus a lot on like lentils, split peas, collard greens is really big in Ethiopian culture. And a lot of places say they're vegan, but they use ghee. And I'm not vegan. I know nothing about it. But ghee is made originally from butter, but all the butter fats are taken out. So there's no more like dairy in it anymore. It's more shelf stable. So I guess that's why people like will call it vegan. But if you don't want to eat butter, then you probably should watch out at Ethiopian restaurants. But they might be using just regular oil. That would work too. But traditionally they use ghee. So there's also this really, really delicious meat dish that I'm obsessed with. So I like raw beef a lot. I mean, that's kind of weird, but I think it's absolutely delicious. You prepare it right. Like, that shit is good. So in Ethiopian culture or food, there is a dish called kito, which there's no way I'm pronouncing that correctly, so I apologize. Which is basically like raw chopped like prime beef with berbere, which is like the spice mixture of the region, with their spiced butter, and you eat it with injera, which is a like sourdough sponge bread, and it is honestly the best thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. I have to drive an hour and a half away from my house now to get any Ethiopian food, and it's absolutely tragic. And I haven't been able to get any in 2 months. So hopefully in the next few months, I'll be able to go and pick some of that up again. I'm going to cut this off before I blather on for too much longer. Thank all y'all for coming and joining me today. If you enjoyed my podcast, let me know. That's really what keeps me doing it, is getting like random messages from you guys being like, oh my god, that's fun. That really makes my day. Or you comment on my podcast. That really makes me smile that you guys are involved and care minimally enough to comment on it. I'm gonna go check on my bread because I'm making bread right now. Hope y'all have a lovely day, and that you're able to garden and that it's not snowing. Bye.